Welcome back. Let's go to Lebo, who's at the Union Buildings in Pretoria.
All right, thank you so much there to Sam Marshall. Yes, as you rightfully said, we are at the Union Buildings for the Annual Nelson Mandela Remembrance Walk. As if you remember last year, it started at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Services Center, but because there are renovations happening at the Union Buildings, they've decided to swap it around, and it starts here at the Union Buildings and then ends at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Services, and we'll go through the city center, passing various heritage sites, and we expect a couple of dignitaries to arrive, and the MC for today is the Art and Culture MEC in Gauteng, Faith Mazibuko, as well as the Gauteng Premier David Makura is also expected to arrive here. But to tell us more about the walk and the significance of why we do this for a third time this year is the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Sello Hatang. Sello, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning.
Let's talk about this walk. Why does this walk take place?
Well, the two main significance, of course, is that this is the third year that Madiba has passed, and we're saying your memory lives with us, your legacy will forever live with us. The second one is we choose this week or this weekend because it's close to the time that Madiba's body left Gauteng to go to the Eastern Cape for his final burial. And I think it's important that we say to people of Gauteng that all of us must be here to try celebrate the legacy with a significant walk. You'll remember that Madiba always reminded us through the book Long Walk to Freedom that we always have to keep walking, and that long walk will never end.
How do we measure the success of a campaign such as this?
I think it's more around numbers. People who respond on Twitter and Facebook and other ways, people who at least say that they will continue to grow the legacy. So the first year, for example, we had about 10,000 people who came. The second year, last year, we had about 15,000. This year again, we're maintaining those figures of around 15,000. Because you also don't want it to be a huge crowd that would make the city difficult to navigate.
Now, there's a Wreath-Laying Ceremony that happens here before the walk starts. What is the significance of that?
I think it's more a somber moment to say that the loss of Madiba was a significant moment for us, not only as South Africans, but as the international community widely. And we're saying, with the wreaths, we're saying our respect for the life that was lost.
What for you stands out this year as we mark third year?
I think the most important thing for us is 2016 was one of the challenging years. And all of us should then say, how do we make sure that 2017 is a better year? That all of us should help make sure that education gets back on track, and that the walk must help us at least refocus, for us to ask ourselves, are we still on course? If not, what do we need to do to get back on course? I think the third thing is to say issues of governance general, issues of corruption. How do we ensure that we have a clean governance, that we clean up issues of corruption at local government, national government, but also in terms of corporate. So all of us should then say we can only observe this legacy if it delivers on the promises that it made. But also we should not forget that this year marks the 20th anniversary of our constitution. Say this constitution, which we marked yesterday, coincidentally, should at least deliver on the promises that the drafters had. It's also a significant moment in terms of the formation of MK. It's to say, why did people have to suffer like that? Why did people have to die if we then play around with our democracy? So with this work, we're saying all these anniversaries should remind us of our responsibility to those who are still to be born.
And December is, pretty significant in South Africa as well. What is the foundation doing for the rest of the month?
Well, we had a dialogue at the Nelson Mandela Foundation last week, or at the beginning of the week, on Monday with the Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa. Again, he was in conversation with Deputy Minister Ayanda Dlovo, and Dr. Leon Wessels. And the three of them started looking critically at the Constitution. Has it delivered? What kind of a vision did we have with this Constitution? And particularly the role of young people. That all of us need to then be observing that. But then we also have, with the walk, what I need to emphasize is that it's just not for us to walk, but at the end of the walk, we're going to have fitness program. I hope you have an outfit for that, because this is not going to cut it. I'm just saying, because there's going to be a pop-up gym and all that, and some of us are really ready for that. And we're hoping that these activities will always conscientize us of our responsibility towards the Madiba's legacy.
Silo, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Silo Hatang there, talking to us about the activities lined up for today. Clearly, I'm not dressed for the occasion, so I think I'm going to sit that one out or be the timekeeper or something. We're out at the Union Buildings for the Annual Nelson Mandela Remembrance Walk. It is the starting place, and then it continues all the way to Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Services. It's a 5 kilometer walk, so it's not really that hard. All right, let's take a quick